Plaintiff Paul Pellicoro says he started dancing in 1976, and in 1985, he opened his own dance studio and became a competitive dancer. Paul claims the defendant was one of his students, but after completing 134 lessons, the defendant reversed the charges on her credit card, so he's suing. Defendant June Lynn says she was always a shy girl, but she fell in love with dancing after she took lessons for her wedding. June claims she was mistreated at Paul's dance studio because it was a hostile environment, and that's why she reversed the charges. She's countersuing for the cost of a dance instructor.
Start with you.
Well, sir, by the way, do you dance?
Depending on what type of dance.
Chicago bop.
No, Detroit hustle.
Oh, there you go. You got the New York hustle king right here.
All right, Detroit.
All right, so that's how I started out in my business, and I love what I do.
All right.
And I tried to create a dance studio that wasn't just about competitive dancing. I became a competitive dancer, but I liked social dancing quite a bit.
What year did you start?
1976.
Oh, at the height of disco, huh?
Saturday Night Fever came out.
Where were you living then?
I was living in Manhattan, driving a cab.
New York, around the corner, Studio 54.
I didn't always get in. My sister got in. They always liked the pretty girls. I didn't have enough.
You had to wait behind that red.
Yeah, I didn't even bother. I just went to the underground clubs.
Yep. When Steve Rubel and them, all them guys in there having fun and getting high and dancing and doing everything else at Studio 54 till they closed them down. You wasn't part of that?
Nope.
The way you said that sounded, nope.
I was in the underground clubs, the clubs that the dancers went to. The really good dancers didn't go to Studio 54.
No? Okay.
They let a few in.
They act like that was the mecca of dance.
It was the mecca of celebrities and good times.
Okay, got it. And so you had a dance instruction school since that time?
Well, 1985, I started my own studio. I became a competitive dancer, and I had a dream of creating competitive dancing and social dancing under one roof. Okay. And that rarely happens because competitive dancers, as you know, can be competitive, and social dancers try to be good dancers by being nice to one another. And so my studio had an atmosphere of people would walk in and say, this place is so special. I'm so happy you have this. I'm so happy I found it. I walked in and people are warm. You can interact and people will help you right away. But I always had the competitive side, and I tried to encourage the competitive dancers to be friendly and to social dance as well, because that's where it all started. It didn't start with winning. It started with feeling good.
You want to give me some background, ma'am?
Yes. So I grew up very shy. I've always admired girls who know how to dance. My first experience of dancing is when I started taking lessons for my wedding dance.
When was that?
That was 2015.
From him or someone else?
Not from him, in another studio.
All right, 2015.
Yes. And I remember I was always very nervous because it was a big challenge for me to put myself out there. But after my first performance, I really found a new form of expression.
Professional performance or just in-studio performance?
In-studio performance. So I found a new side of myself who is more confident, who is more brave to speak my mind, and who is more expressive.
Okay.
I think dancing has really changed my life. It has made me a better and stronger person. It also allowed me to stand up and speak for myself. I also enjoy competitive dancing. I do competitive Latin dance, and I love competitions because it set a short-term goal for me and helped me grow in many aspects as an individual.
Okay, so what's the problem today?
Well, she took all these lessons. I think the total of the lessons was 134 lessons, and I asked her. We started having problems.
How much
because
is that?
She was being
134.
$12,065.
You all have an agreement on what the amount costs? You have a contract showing how much it costs?
Jeff Goldstein is my bookkeeper. He'll explain everything, but let me give you the general thing. She went and reversed the charges on the credit card, and I had to fight her. I had to pay my bookkeeper all the time.
Why did she reverse them?
Because I asked her to leave the studio because I found she wasn't very friendly to the other students, and she was too demanding, and I didn't think it was the right studio for her. I encouraged her to leave.
All right, ma'am, let me hear from you about your stay there at the studio. Tell me what your experience was there.
Sure. My previous instructor, who worked for Paul Pellicoro Dance Board, he is a very talented dancer. I have learned a lot from him. But I have experienced extremely hostile learning environment at Paul Pellicoro's, and also I was mistreated as a customer by
When did you first begin receiving that hostile treatment?
That began.
How long had you been going? Like, estimate 30 days, the first day? How long
began,
after they turned hostile towards you?
A few months into
a few months into it?
Yeah.
Give me an example of the hostile treatment. Give me the first time they treated you hostile. Who was it and what did they do?
For example, the student had charged me $350 on my credit card without my consent. So I approached the student manager and just asked what happened. Instead of handling in a professional manner, she had called me stealing and called me not paying for classes. And she threatened me to, she has said that she will refuse service if I continue to cause trouble. And I've just told her the whole reason I'm talking to her is I want to know why they charged my car with my consent, which I don't think is right.
What you're telling me occurred, these are separate from the charges in dispute?
This is the charges in dispute.
Okay, well, I won't conclude that's a hostile environment. I'll conclude that's a debate over who owes who. Hostile environment is when someone is intentionally harassed in some way. Many times it's sexual, many times it's race-based, gender-based, religious-based, creating a hostile environment, sexual harassment, and a general environment, not just a dispute over a bill. So other than the money dispute, is there any other thing you're referring to in terms of them creating a hostile environment?
I would like to say that Paul is extremely disrespectful to women. He has screamed at me and many other female clients. In one instance, one of the long-term female clients approached him to ask for a discount, and he grabbed a broom and shoved it into her face and said, "You want a discount? Go sweep the floor for me." I also have affidavits of students.
Saying what type of things?
That they are uncomfortable.
Let's see it, please. Sir, did you know of these complaints that she's saying?
I've never spoken to this woman until I asked her to leave.
Because what it sounds like she's leading up.
I don't see me in the studio that much because I have other people running it. And when the troubles that I hear from my administration build up, I eventually have to get involved.
Okay.
The only time I ever spoke to her was on the phone when I asked her to no longer come. I don't want her business anymore. And that's the only interaction I had. And I never asked anybody to sweep the floor. I said I had work scholarship for people who can't afford to pay the tuition.
Go ahead, ma'am.
I would like
Why did you stop your payment?
I would like to also include a message from my former instructor.
Let's see that. What is that saying? Hi, June. I just heard from Paul last night, but I don't really understand what happened. I'm very upset because you are very talented and I really liked working with you. Try not to think about it now. Otherwise, you'll just poison your vacation. Whatever happens, you gain and improve so much. What else you want me to know about the contract and how he breached it?
Yes.
Because you asked for your money back from the credit card company and they gave it back to you?
Yes.
And that's why he wants it back, because he believes you got it back from them illegitimately. He says they perform the lessons. And then, in fact, you have an instructor who says he gave you lessons and everything was fine between the two of you. You want that money back too?
Some portion of it.
Okay, yes. Even though he said you did well, now you want some of that money back too? Even though he said and you agree he did a good job, so much so you gave this to me as your evidence, showing me how good you and the instructor got along. The instructor praised you. He said, Paul should never have done that. And now your response is, you give my money back too. Or a portion of it. How much of it you want back from him? The one who said y'all got along great and you did a good job. How much you want back from him?
So I have disputed, I've spent close to $30,000.
No. Answer my question. The instruction that this person gave you, how much of that money do you want back? I know you want a bunch of money. Do you want all the money that you used getting this instruction back as well?
Not all of them.
How much of this?
About $9,000. Yes.
Even though this person said, and you agreed, you handed it to me as the evidence, that they did a great job. You all got along. He says you were very talented and I liked working with you. And this is what you gave me. Yet you want $9,000 back. For what again?
For unsatisfied service.
Okay, and this shows me that you were satisfied. And how much did you lose?
$12,065.
And the maximum we can give you here is $5,000. All right. And your counterclaim for $5,000 is for what?
So when Paul have terminated the contract, I have suffered tremendous damage because my instructor there was my competition partner. So leaving there means I have to find a new person, build hold completely new routine, and learn the new routine and get it up to speed. So I had to start the whole process brand new because I stopped the service over there.
All right. You would have to start over anyway. So I'm not going to grant you anything, and therefore I'm going to grant yours, because she has indicated she was satisfied, her and the instructor, with the relationship and with the lessons that were given. $5,000 for the plaintiff. Your claim is dismissed, your counterclaim. Have a good day.
I'm happy with the result. I think June Lin is trying to, put my name and my integrity down, and I think it's a defamation of character that wasn't necessary.
It's well known in the dance world what a bully Paul is. I just want him to think again next time if he pick another target to bully.